Howdy friends, and welcome back to Apron Strings. I know I've been missing a day or two. There's been a lot going on around here. Things I just had to do, and I just didn't pressure myself to jump in here and make videos. Maybe I can get back on a regular roll now. Life's kind of settling down, and we're getting into a routine. I guess our new normal. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to make some tomato cheese bread today, and you could also use it kind of like a casserole, but the recipe calls it a cheese bread. And it's made with Bisquick for your base for your dough or baking mix. I'm using Bisquick, and you make that and put it in the pan, and then you slice your tomatoes and layer them on it, and then there's a topping that you make. Now, to make the topping, you take a couple of tablespoons of butter and put them in your skillet and just sweat them down till they're tender. And so I'm going to do that, and then you add the other ingredients in, and that's what you top the tomatoes with, and then you bake it. So I'm going to get some butter out in the skillet. I've already got my medium onion chopped, and I'm going to get it in the skillet. And while it's cooking down, we'll slice the tomatoes, and I'm going to get a little bit of the juice out of them so it won't be so runny, and measure our Bisquick, and we'll get our bread going, because I haven't eaten today, and it's almost, what, 1 o'clock? It's 1:20, so I'm going to have some of this with a little bowl of Campbell's vegetable beef soup here in a little bit. My butter in my skillet, and let it start melting. And then I've got my onions all chopped and ready to put in there. It's a medium onion, probably about a cup of onion, maybe a cup and a fourth is how much was the size of mine. So I'll let my butter get melted, and then we'll add this and get going. I've got the bottom coated. Use my tomato knife to cut my butter. I'm going to go ahead and put the onions in, and then when it melts, I'll stir it. We just want to get them kind of soft. I'm going to put my, I'm going to cut my tomatoes in about half-inch, quarter-inch slices. Get that little core out. I think I'm going to do this like I do on a tomato pie. I'm going to dip that in some flour to absorb some of that, and it'll be okay in the middle of the bread, and it won't be so runny. Sometimes if your tomatoes are real juicy, it adds too much juice to what you're cooking. If it's like a bread or savory cobbler or something like that. Well, I thought I cut the core out, but it didn't come out. But I'll just get it right on out there. Okay, there's our tomatoes, and I'm going to season them with some salt and pepper, a little bit, onion and garlic powder, because I want some flavor on them in the middle of the bread. And some good old garlic. I don't think I'm going to add any salt, because I don't want to get too much salt. What do I do with my pepper? Here it is. Because the seasoning that goes into your, on the top has some salt in it, so, and the Bisquick is already seasoned, so I'll just do it this way. Let me stir our onions around over here. And I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 400, and we cook it for about 25 minutes. Let me get the oven preheated. While the oven's preheating, we will go ahead and start mixing up what goes into the topping. The onions go in, but you need a half a cup of sour cream, a fourth of a cup of mayonnaise, and I'm using Hellmann's. You need the cupful of cheese, and you need a fourth of a teaspoon of oregano, a half teaspoon of, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and a fourth of black pepper. And it calls for some sage, but I'm not going to put sage because everybody doesn't enjoy sage. And then when the onions are tender, I'm going to dump them in here and mix them with this as well. We're finally getting some sunny days. We've had so much rain, I'm telling you, it's a mess. The grass gets knee deep because you can't mow because the yard's soggy. But our youngest grandchild of the family, April's youngest, came and stayed a few days, and he got most of the front yard mowed, and he weed-eated out back for me and push mowed, and that's wonderful. That was a big help. Now, to make our mix that goes on the bottom, we need 2 cups of a Bisquick or your baking mix and 2/3 of a cup of milk, and you just stir that till you get a good little dough made from it. So we're going to get that stirred up too, so we'll have it ready to go. I need to measure out 2 cups of the Bisquick. They make that child-proof and adult-proof as well. It's hard to get into it. Okay, that's 2 cups. Let me stir our onions a little bit, and I'll get something to mix that up in. Need another little mixing something here. So I needed 2 cups of Bisquick, 3/4 cup of, I'm just using whole milk. And you just mix this till it forms a dough. That baking mix kind of simplifies things a little bit. See, it just makes a kind of a little sticky dough that you can work with. And what you do, you just work with it a little bit. It says knead it 10 to 12 times on a board. I'm just going to use this bowl sitting on the board. You think that'll count? I think that's just to get everything going good. You just want it to where you can press it down into your pan. I'm using my Pampered Chef 9x13 stoneware pan. And did y'all hear the song and you know what it is? The June oven's waiting on us. So that's good. This don't make a thick bottom crust. Of course, it's going to rise a little bit. Kind of have to work with it to get it to cover everything, because you want the whole bottom to be the bread. I'm going to try to make a little rim coming up the sides just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of flour in a bowl to sprinkle on mine. Well, I'll just get a cut. I'm going to sprinkle it on there to take up some of that juice that's in those tomatoes. Because I know on my tomato pie, and this too, when you don't do this, it's a little soggy, and I don't like soggy. So I'm just sprinkling it, patting it. And I'll put them in there, and then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more on the top. You just arrange them however you want them arranged. I'm going ahead and doing these on both sides while I'm at it. I don't know why I didn't think about doing the others like that. That'll help a little bit. We're going to sprinkle them with paprika, and I'm using smoky paprika. You can use whatever you want. Then I'm going to add my onions to my mixture here. Stir that up. Onions and butter. Now that smells really good. I have a recipe for onion pie or onion casserole. I forgot which. It's made with the Vidalia onions, and it goes with barbecue or anything. It's good. I'll try to remember to link it below, because it's a dish similar to this, but totally different. So I'm just going to dollop this around, spread it on the top. That onion and mayonnaise and sour cream, going to be yummy. See if I can get a little bit more out of here. Okay, I don't want it burning on my dish, so I'm going to wipe that up a little bit. And I'm going to get this in the oven for about 20 minutes. I think it's 20 minutes. 25 minutes is what the recipe says. So we'll be back when it's done. I'm going to put it over there in the June that's already preheated to 400 degrees. Okay, here's the casserole, and I went ahead and cut me a piece out for dinner, lunch, supper, whatever you want to call it. It's late. And I'm going to get a picture for I can put it for YouTube, and I'll be back on here in a minute and talk to y'all. Okay, y'all, that is an absolute keeper. It's as good as a tomato pie, and it's easier to make. You don't have as much stuff in it. You could add the bacon and all to this, just like the tomato pie recipe. Y'all need to try it. It sure is easy, and it sure is good. Now, I'm sorry that I've been missing. I'm having to do things in the order of priority, and I've just had too much going on. We've had our grandson here to mow and do some of the stuff that Troy he just can't keep up with everything anymore. And so when he's here, I'm tending to kids, even though they're grown. They want to eat when they're at Nana's. And I've had some other stuff that I've been doing, so for a few days it's going to be just me and Troy, and I'm going to try to get some videos done where I'll be popping up at your house and you won't forget about me. I love doing this. It's just been a whole lot of stuff to deal with. So, y'all make the casserole and let me know what you think about it. And that'll be a good thing to put on your supper table and gather your family around to eat. It'd be real good with some pinto beans or even purple hull peas. Oh my goodness, I wanted some peas with it, but I didn't cook them. But I even thought about some green beans cooked down with bacon, but I didn't do that either. I had me an avocado. I didn't have that soup I was talking about. I had an avocado and a piece of this tomato cheese bread, and it was wonderful. Hit the spot. So let me know if you make it and what you think about it. Thank y'all for hanging with me and waiting, and some of y'all have messaged me and told me you was concerned because I hadn't been here, and Troy is holding his own. He's on a lot more fluid pills. It takes that fluid off that helps him to breathe better. Still can't exert himself and do anything, but at least he's not struggling to breathe when he's resting. So we're thankful for every little bit that gets better. And we're just still trusting the good Lord for a miracle. He still does miracles. We just got to get our faith up. Y'all keep us in your prayers. Keep watching Apron Strings. Please share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed, but you've just been watching, please subscribe to it. And if you really like the video, give me a thumbs up. I don't know what that does for me, but it helps my channel. And I want it to be helped, so do your part. I'll see y'all in a day or two. The good Lord bless you.